Hello everyone, yes, this is new for me, but shut up, okay? I like it, so I'm gonna try it. Enjoy. So this Dungeons & Dragons story takes place in Cairo, Egypt in the real world. I put this game in the real world so I can have some bits of history into the game while we play, which would be fun, I guess. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyways, only 2 of the 3 player characters that were playing my game could show up because one of them had exams. So we started off with only 66% of the players, which really didn't help for the first game of the campaign, which gave out a lot of information about what's going to happen during the game and stuff. I started out with my characters having little backstory sessions to show off where they were in Cairo before the main plot started. Like with my fighter, just fighting people on the streets, and my sorcerer doing magic tricks to make money, and then being seen by Pharaoh to come live with him to cultivate his powers. Once the 2 main characters were brought to the Pharaoh, he told them that he needs someone to become an immortal and spread the Egyptian religion to the world so that he can be immortal forever as well, and so he can become the most powerful person in the world. But he needed to make sure he could trust my PCs, so he tested them with a small little mission of converting a small town by Egypt to become a part of the Egyptian religion. But the problem is that these people just converted to the Greek religion and just left the Egyptian religion, so they didn't want anything to do with the Egyptian religion and Pharaoh, since they also just gained their independence. So the people there just ignored them, when suddenly 8 or 9 or 10 wizards, I don't know how many there were, came out and summoned a freaking Dingy. If you don't play Dungeons & Dragons and you don't know what a Dingy is, then I will tell you that he is a level 8 difficulty challenge rating genie that could multi-attack and summon literal tornadoes onto the players. Now, at the time, I didn't look at his stats or his difficulty level because he looked cool, and he looked Middle Eastern, and that would fit with my game, so I just, slapped him in there for the first level characters to have fun with, Level 8 challenge rating, level 1 characters, they're both numbers, so I guess they work, right? Right? Wrong. Any of his attacks could automatically take half of their health, and I did not know what to do if he killed them. So when I saw the battle start to go south, I had to come up with something to make sure that my characters wouldn't die and become a pile of dead PCs for the first session of the first game of my campaign with their brand new first level characters. So here's what I came up with. I asked the players to roll insight on the Dingy, and since they rolled high, I told them that the Dingy was being controlled by those 8 or 9 or 10 wizards, and if all the wizards die, then he would go back into his lamp. But I didn't plan for him to be controlled by those wizards at all. So putting that in would just make me more confused than I already was, which is definitely what I didn't need for such an intense battle. Anyways, each death of a wizard would weaken the Dingy until all of them died and he would go back in his lamp and would be done. So when I saw my characters start to just put their attacks towards the wizards, and they were just eating attacks from the Dingy, I just had to find a way to make the Dingy stop doing attacks and have him do something else. So what did I come up with? That's right. I made him send out a whirlwind, which is a tornado. A giant literal tornado. Once I realized how high the players would go if it got caught by them, which my fighter did get caught by it, I realized that if the Dingy went back into his lamp and the whirlwind went down, my character would fall to his death, and that'd be the first death in the first game. Which is not good if you've ever played D&D. So I had a choice to either have him die and then roll a saving throw to, come back to life, or I was going to have to figure something out. And I did figure something out, but it was pretty stupid. But before I could make this stupid plan, my sorcerer casted a spell onto the fighter that brought him down slightly, which was good. So I'm like, okay, phew, don't have to make up a stupid plan, and then he'll just fall, we'll be good to go, and we'll be done. Is what I thought, when I realized that if he dies, he would just throw him back up, and he'd be back in the air. So eventually, when the sorcerer killed all the wizards, and the whirlwind died out, and the genie went back into his lamp, my fighter started falling. And he died in the first game with his brand new first level character. Didn't want him to have to roll a death saving throw in the first game because I planned on having multiple sessions after this, and that would just take away one of his death saving throws, shortening the game, and I didn't want to do that. So instead, I had him meet up with Death, and Death was like, "Hey man, you're the Pharaoh's guy, right? Well, listen, dude, don't die like that. It's messing with my work. I got souls to reap, and it's kind of getting in my way. So could you please not do that again? That'd be pretty epic. I'll just say this is second base, and we'll call it a day. No death saving throw. None of that paperwork. I don't want to deal with that. You have fun. Don't die again. Okay, bye." And then he was back to life. So there I ended, with my two characters alive, well, my sorcerer relieved that his unlucky rolls of trying to save him while he was falling weren't in vain, and with a fighter that wasn't pissed off at me because I killed him in the first game. I don't think I will ever run a session like that ever again in my life, with such risk and stupidity. And also, another thing that made it amazing was it was the first time I tried using ambient music. So during that entire fight scene, they were listening to intense Marvel-like music, which really hyped them up, and I really liked, and we're going to continue doing that in our games. And one of my players told me, the sorcerer, after the game that he really liked it. And I'm like, okay, I'll continue doing that. He's like, "No, you don't understand. It made the game really cool." I'm like, "Yeah, it does that." He's like, "Yeah," and we both just nodded awkwardly. But anyways, if I ever have another game even crazier than that one, I'll make a video about it. But until then, this is where I'll end.